Hello friends. The classes start has got delayed because of the net disruption, but anyway, we are having it now. So friends, yesterday we have seen a very important aspect of farm subsidies, agricultural subsidies, which are very important going by the current developments. As you know, farmers' agitation is on, and there are very issues about agri reforms and minimum support prices and all that. It is in this context that we need to take a look at subsidies. And yesterday, in the previous class, we had extensively covered what actually are the subsidies, how MSP is calculated, what is C2, cost plus approach formula, and all that. Today, we will look at the issue of WTO, World Trade Organization, as well as how it looks at subsidies of the member countries. Okay, so friends, before we discuss further, the fundamental aspect about the farm subsidies or any kind of subsidies for WTO is the level playing field. The level playing field for all the member countries. And as we know, WTO has always been tilted towards the developed countries, because of its membership issues and because of its very composition. There is always a divide between the north and south. That means whatever that has developed and developed economies and developing economies. See, this is seen in every aspect. Even if you see, for example, the climate change and global warming, all that, greenhouse gases, we have serious differences between the developing economies or the developed world and the developing economies because their level of development is different. Their level of human development is different. Developing economies did not have that reach yet, so obviously we'll have to do. So WTO always tries to say that subsidies lead to market distortions and thus will not allow market to operate on its own. That is an important thing you need to understand. And it is in this context that we need to understand how WTO looks at subsidies of developing countries, including India. So basically, friends, as I wrote on the board, we don't find the word subsidies in WTO terminology. It is called aggregate measure of support. Remember this. Even in preliminary, it is important. Aggregate measure of support. AMS is the term that is used to denote subsidies by World Trade Organization. Now, obviously, there are different types of subsidies as we see. Now, let us look at the farm subsidies. WTO adopts a kind of box classification. It is generally called green, blue, and red. Red is not actually used, but in the amber category, they would actually expect the developing countries or developing economies to cut down on subsidies or to stop certain categories of subsidies or to cap them. That's why the term red is used in the normal terminology. But if we go by the classification, there are four types of classification, box classification for WTO as far as subsidies are concerned. One is amber. These are like colors. Okay, amber. Here, these are the most worried subsidies for WTO. Okay, for example, if you see MSP, price support, the example for amber box of subsidies in India, we can definitely give as minimum support price. And friends, this minimum support price is a serious issue. We were talking about MSP yesterday. So this comes under the umber box of WTO classifications. Okay. Similarly, now what is the main aim of this kind of classification? There are two ways. The AMS, that is nothing but aggregate measure of support, in the farm products should not exceed 5% for the developed countries and 10% for the developing countries. If you see the entire product value, the subsidy should not be more than 10% in the developing countries. That is how it is seen. Just stay and just switch on the AC. Forgot. Okay. So this 10% cap, upper cap on subsidies has already been breached in India, of course. That is the issue of contention. Another category is the blue box. Another category is the blue box category of subsidies. Now, blue, you see, this is conditional acceptance. Conditional acceptance for subsidies, where you are expected to have a time frame for it, and eventually you can phase it out. Blue box, or actually these are subsidies which are direct payments, in the form of direct payments, not amounting to market distortions. That means if a government is giving blue box subsidy, a subsidy, if it is not going to affect the agri market or the entire agricultural ecosystem and not leading to major market distortions, that kind of subsidies are actually mentioned as blue box subsidies. So I repeat, there is conditional acceptance of WTO for blue box subsidies because it may not lead to a total disruption of market agricultural ecosystem, agriculture market according to WTO. Now, the other channel, other box rather, that is green box subsidies. Any subsidy that is not related to price support. I repeat, friends, any subsidy that is not related to price support, MSP is a price support, right? So all those subsidies which are not part of amber and blue box are actually green box subsidies, where they are generally approved. They are not seen as distorting market situation in a very serious manner. So they are not causing any great trouble, any great disturbance to market players in a globalized market. That kind of subsidies are actually called green box subsidies. So here, because there was no price support, WTO is not too worried about this kind of support. Okay? As I said, why WTO is worried about all these things? It is because of global investments. When foreign direct investment is coming up in, say, in any of the agri and allied activities, industries, WTO feels if you are manipulating the price, the return on investment for foreign investors may not be there. So you can't have a globalization and then have some kind of restrictions on this. You can't have liberalization, you can't allow free trade, then again try to influence the market. So when I am investing, I would assume that, okay, see, this is the market which is operating on its own. Demand and supply conditions might determine the market along with other variables. But if there is price support, the price is not determined by demand and supply. How is the price determined? Price is nothing but a function of demand and supply, right? So if you are influencing price, this is not going to happen. That is why WTO is worried. And in this case, green box subsidies, there is absolutely no worry or tension for WTO, because it feels that they have minimal distortion to markets and trade, global trade, or no distortion, either minimum distortion or no distortion. That is how WTO actually looks at this green box subsidies. They are allowed without any limits because they are not distorting the market anyway. And this box is exempt because of no impact. If in WTO negotiations, if I am having green box subsidies, they do not actually influence the course of negotiations. Okay, so they are actually non-entity in a way. So friends, what I told you precisely to have a recap that WTO does not use the word subsidy. It uses the word aggregate market support, and going by the nature of the subsidy, whether it is price support or non-price support, whether it is influencing the price movement in the market, agricultural prices, WTO categorizes them into 3 boxes. Of course, there is also 4th box, which is called S&D box. I will talk about it. But basically, 3 boxes: amber, blue, and green. The red is nothing but an ultimate form of amber is red. For example, if India is having more than 10% of subsidy under under this category, it is automatically deemed to be as a red box subsidy. Okay. So friends, we also have something like S&D box, that is social development box. From 1990s, we know that a new human development index has been brought in. The concept of human development, by UNDP was floated in early 1990s. So obviously, to eradicate poverty or to ensure minimum social welfare or to have health infra, health support, WTO allows some sort of subsidies, and these subsidies are actually called S&D box. Okay, so this is the gist of what WTO describes as subsidies. Friends, those who are watching live, I hope the voice is clear, right? Can you please respond? Hello? Is the voice clear? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thanks for responding. So friends, sometimes we get a doubt. We are speaking, on our own, whether we are able to listen or not. Right? So, friends, now let's move on to very important issue. We have seen what are subsidies. We have seen how they are classified. What is the basis of? Thanks, Hriday. Yeah, good that you are able to hear. So, what is the current situation? See, how do you get marks in the economy? You need to contemporize. Our endeavor in economic classes has always been to give you the latest information that takes you till your interview. Now prelims are there, then mains will be there, then interview, right? So we have updated as far as the subsidies are concerned. It is updated, whatever we are discussing, it is updated till 10 days back. In fact, on February 5th, there was a WTO negotiations round. India had participated. We are even updating that. So, there may be a question on what is the position of India as far as subsidies are concerned, farm subsidies are concerned. What is the current status like that? Questions in economy are not easy, friends, especially in the mains as well as prelims. Prelims, it looks everything is clear, but when you start answering, it will be very, very tough. In fact, I am making lot of objective type papers so that we will do the practice. Why I have not started immediately is that we thought maybe to capture current economy it will be too early to start. So, but from March, definitely as promised, we will have all the tests done. So, once you start practicing the objective type economy questions, then you will know the difficulty. Even you see the previous papers, the questions on economy are not direct. They are very general and indirect. Okay. So they may as well pick up a question on what actually is the current position between India and WTO, or analyze India's issues with WTO as far as farm subsidies are concerned, like that. Let me share some screen and explain some points to you. So please stay on. Yeah, friends. Now, farm subsidies, India and WTO issues and present position. I will be mailing this to you as the weekend, that is this weekend. You can directly use this as an answer. It is very difficult for you to frame this answer, so I am only doing it. Friends, what is WTO's fundamental objection? The fundamental objection of WTO is that we have crossed the 10% barrier or upper cap in farm subsidies, especially MSP driven subsidies. And so we are in the amber box, and subsequently we have been upgraded to red box, as I explained to you. But India is least bothered because of two reasons. One, it has been maintaining that the social and economic fabric of India and the very nature of agricultural ecosystem warrants some kind of support. You call it aggregate measure of support or subsidy, but we can't let the farmers suffer without the subsidies. That is the position. India, like in the climate change, has also been arguing that even developing countries have subsidies. See, the essential difference here is developing countries had actually crossed this stage of development. They also had subsidies. You know, it is like climate change, pollution you take, for example. Now, from the Kyoto Protocol to till recent discussions, what is the problem? The problem is greenhouse gases. Okay? They say that developing countries are polluting because of emissions, so we should have norms on emissions. This is fine. But friends, can we say that the same America or England or France or Germany did not pollute the earth? It was a necessary stage in development of economy. You know, if you see the entire industrial revolution, for instance, factories, steam engines, everything have come. All the developing countries have done their bit of pollution and gone to the next level of technology. Now we are a developing country. We have to pass through the stage which was passed already by the developed countries. Now, what is the shortcut? Shortcut is technology. But unless we have something, we can't improve next. So, why I am comparing climate change is this very interesting comparison. We have Ban Ki-moon, you know, former Secretary General of United Nations. In fact, he had a report on sustainable development and technology transfer and all that pollution. Ban Ki-moon has also suggested that the cost of sustainable development is very huge. Now, if India don't want to pollute, then where is the technology to run industries without pollution? We don't have it. Who had? Developing countries had. So either you transfer technology to us, or allow us to do on our own. You can't say that, see, we don't give you technology, but you can't pollute the world, because we have to. We have to do it, in the normal course. The same thing is also relevant for agriculture subsidies. You see the development of agriculture in England. You see the development of agriculture in UK. America, United States. All this had passed through the normal course. What we are doing, of course, in a much earlier stage. In a much earlier stage, many years ago. But India had to do that. Okay, so that is the main argument anyway. So India is arguing, let me share the screen again, that you just can't have a position that disturbs India or any developing economies from undergoing the natural round of development. So we have to pass through. So you can't totally blame us or blame developing economies on the subsidies. That is the point. See, now India is working on a new round of talks. So what are these talks? What is this focus that India is working? We have to have a per farmer subsidy methodology, so that sustaining livelihood of poor farmers will be treated differently from those used by some developed members. Okay? See, this is simply a question of methodology. See, instead of calculating the aggregate measure of support as a whole, why don't you calculate per farmer? Then we will not be in the 10% limit. That is the argument. Okay? Then it also, India is also requesting that WTO should redefine its age-old methodology of calculating farm subsidies to take into account the level of SOPs. SOPs are benefits, right? That each farmer is getting in every country. Why are you calculating aggregate measure of support? You just calculate how much a farmer is getting in India, how much a farmer is getting in England or Germany or US or Brazil or Mexico, whatever. It actually wants to submit a formal proposal for this, which actually got slightly delayed, but it is expected to be given to WTO very shortly. Then, see, there is a proposal, then the government process are there where the documents will be given and they will take it up the matter and all that. Now, India's stand is to incorporate adoption of per farmer subsidy methodology and redefining the principles of proportionality, so that the subsidies for sustaining livelihood of the poor could be treated differently. Friends, very, very important point. I hope you are able to follow this. Then, need for reducing the AMS for other developed countries. Let me explain to you. What India wants, what is India's position now? One, India wants WTO to redefine its methodology and adopt per-farmer subsidy approach rather than the collective approach it is following. We also want WTO to arrive at different ways of calculating the per farmer subsidy in each of the countries so that we can actually get to know what is the situation. Then we are also wanting to have a formal proposal submitted to WTO, which is underway. Already it has been decided that it is being submitted. So these are the top priorities for India as far as WTO is concerned. You know, the stalemate is concerned. Okay, there are certain other points also which I would like to highlight. Now, what is other members doing? We always had some success because WTO, all members of the WTO had already agreed to have a relook at the subsidies. Okay. Now, what actually are distorting the market? What actually are distorting the world trade and creating uncertainties? We need to identify them very clearly. Okay. However, in February, as I said, there was supposed to be a discussion. There was a discussion, but there was no conclusive outcome on this. And friends, it is also expected that in the months to come, definitely there will be a greater discussion on WTO's approach to subsidies, especially in case of India. We have our Nirmala Sitharaman, who was earlier Minister for Commerce, Union Minister for Commerce. She was the lady who led the delegation of discussions with WTO. Sorry. Now it is also continuing. And friends, it is also important that we also need to take into account what are the subsidies that are being given by developed countries, you know, developed members of WTO. It has become a fashion actually to always say that, see, developing world or developing economies or emerging market economies should reduce the subsidies and all that. But why can't we have a relook? You know, because nearly 90% of global entitlements is nothing but subsidies in a different way, aggregate measure of support, or nearly 160 billion US dollars are actually from the developed economies. Most developing members have access only to the capped subsidies. So there is actually a kind of asymmetry, rather skewed pattern in the rules on agriculture trade. Now, developing countries' agricultural subsidies, which are called aggregate measure of support, is capped at 10% of the value of the farm produce. Now, anyway, India has already breached this, as I mentioned to you, for MSP for paddy. Now, the issue is, what happens if India breaches? Okay, as on today, there is some kind of temporary truce between India and WTO as far as the difference on the subsidies are concerned. They said, in the light of the new proposal that we can have per farmer subsidy, and we'll also have a relook at the subsidies or entitlements or aggregate measure of support being used by the developing nations. Let us not take any actions or punishment or sanctions on India, because technically, if a member country defies WTO's rules, then it is called for sanctions. But as of now, India does not have the danger because we have a greater support from other developing countries and economies, including China, that we need to take a relook on the whole issue of agriculture subsidies and how it is actually being seen by the developed world. So, friends, this is the important thing you need to see. Out of today's discussion, I expect you to be clear on how WTO treats subsidies. On the other hand, what is current position of India as far as farm subsidies are required or concerned with WTO? What India is demanding? Okay. The next will take up agri marketing. There is a slight point I want to tell you, that is, we do have there is another provision that is called non-agricultural produce or market access. This is a WTO provision, but India has no problem with the non-agricultural market access problem. We are able to complete to that category. So our only problem is agricultural subsidies. Okay, and this is a very important and expected question. We'll take up agricultural marketing now. You know, what are the fundamental issues of agricultural marketing, and what are the new things that are coming up, whether it is ENAM and all those things. Okay, what are the market support mechanisms that are being given to farmers? These are the issues we'll take up. We have a Act Fibernet issue today, so that's the reason for the class starting delayed, and some of the classes got impacted. But anyway, that is that will be rectified very shortly. So I hope you understood all this WTO and subsidies. If you have any doubts, you are welcome, because there are no questions in the live chat today. Are there any questions, friends? Do you want any clarifications on this? Is everything clear? Okay, then if you have any doubts, you can always call me and access me on WhatsApp or email. Okay, so thanks. We'll get back to you soon.